The unprepared speech. Now, for the unprepared speech, you will be given a topic or you'll be given a few to choose from. Sometimes you have to draw a topic or say three topics from a hat and then have to decide which one to use. And then you have only a few minutes, between 5 and 10 minutes only, to prepare a 2 to 3 minute speech. And the mark allocation for this is 15 marks. And you may not bring any information or quotes into the room. So it's got to come from your head. Now, it is actually a skill that you can practice at home. And then you can do very well in the actual task at school. Let someone help you and provide some topics to you. I'm going to give you some typical type of topics that you can expect, and have the person make up some for you and throw it into a hat or into something, and you can pick one or pick three and then choose from the three one that you chose, and then do the quick preparation and practice the whole process. So the typical type of question that you can expect is the following. The first one is describe. It's the describe type of questions. Describe your best friend, your role model, your favorite family member, your daily procedure. Describe anything. If it's your friend, she might ask you to describe your dog or something. So the describe type, anything there. And then often, especially during external moderation, you will be asked to tell the person in the unprepared speech which of the poems that you did during the course of the year did you like most, and why is that? Or which of the dramas that you have done during the course of your high school, or the Shakespearean dramas, did you enjoy most? Why not? Which did you hate? Why not? So which, it's the which type of question. The favorite, which is your favorite, this or that. Even food or dishes, the which type of question. And then there's the should type of question, which involves arguments or discursive arguments. They are argumentative topics, and so that might be one that you would want to choose. Questions like, should learners be allowed to do this and that at school? Should matriculants have a smoking room, or whatever it is at school? Should this or should that happen at your school or in society, in churches, or whatever? So the should type of question. And then, of course, the person can make a selection of proverbs and throw those into the hat. And a very popular is the three most important aspects of, or the three things you like most about your favorite teacher, or that you hate most about your least favorite teacher. And then also things that you would like to change. What three things would you like to change in the world, change in the school, about your parents, or about your life at home, whatever? Topics like that. It's pretty everyday type of topics that you can throw into the hat, and then you can pick one and you can start practicing. Now you've picked your topic. You perhaps had to take three, or you were given three, and now you choose the one that you like most. Okay, so you've got the topic. You don't have much time, remember? Only a few minutes. So you decide on the topic very quickly. And it must be one that you can relate to, please. Now you brainstorm this in your head for about 30 seconds, very quickly. And do that aloud, because you're going to be on your own in a room when you prepare at school. You will be asked to go to a certain room and then prepare your speech. So you'll be alone there, so you can speak loudly and speak when you practice. Also speak out loud. It may help you to produce a little mind map or help you. Then you develop your body. So in other words, you brainstorm, and then you think of a structure and so on, and you develop the body. And the easiest way, or a good way of doing it, is to always think of three aspects. Okay, if it's the three things I like most about, then it's easy, one, two, three. If it's like three things I would change, it's one, two, three. Do you understand? But if it's even it's a different topic, say it's on whatever topic you can think of, it's three aspects about this topic that you must lift out, because that gives you a nice breakdown of the topic, and then you'll know it's about a minute on each one. And for the first one, you also have your intro, and in the end, you have your ending. So you've got this picture in your head. So you look at three aspects, and you quickly do your mind map. Remember, this is now going to happen fast. It's not as though this is a prepared speech and you had weeks to prepare. You have to do it now within minutes. So you have your quick mind map, and the one and focus on the one, two, and the three. And if you've got your one, two, and your three, in other words, the three aspects, immediately then think of what you can say, which will be catching in terms of your introduction. Of course, you have to have a catching introductory sentence, and you have to have a memorable conclusion. So you think of those immediately. You've got your introduction, you've got your ending, you've got your point, and you know that each one of these points must be about that long. And if you practice enough, you will know immediately whether this is going to take a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So you must make sure that you don't go over the time limit. You stick to those 3 points, perhaps in a minute. So the introductory sentence important, and your concluding sentence after you've picked your three aspects. Aim to speak for 1 to 3 minutes. Well, if you are told that it should be 2 minutes or 3 minutes, get closer to that, but you must not go substantially over the time. Of course, if you speak substantially less, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're not saying enough, actually. There will not be enough content. So you speak for 1 to 3 minutes, make it about 2.5 to 3 rather. Deliver the speech that you have now just prepared very quickly, the one that you're practicing with your friend, and time yourself, and you will get this mental picture of how long, more or less, a 3 minute speech is. Because remember, you're practicing now. And then assess yourself. Ask yourself a few questions. Okay, I've done this. Now, did I mess up with my cue cards? Because remember, you still have cue cards, although it's like rudimentary cue cards, and it's just like the topic, a word or two for the intro, a word or two for the. It's just very short, but at least it gives you the transition. So, have I used my cue cards properly, or did I make a mess? I'm saying, should I do it differently next time? Did I speak logically? Was there a logical cohesion in this speech of mine? Was the content good? Was it original? Could I think of something funny or original to use? Did I speak fluently, clearly? Can you see? It's all your skills that you used for the prepared speech that now comes into action here as well. Did I use connectives? Now, a tip would be for your cue cards, apart from having the point in the three cue cards, and the intro and the ending, perhaps also put a connective where you think you're going to use it. After the first cue card, what would the connective be? Would it be furthermore, or therefore, or because of that, or whatever, before you go on to the next, or by contrast, and then you go on to the contrast. So, in other words, look for the connectives that you can put there, and also just jot that down. It will just help you along. Were you audible? Could you be heard? If you were in a hall, Would people at the back of the hall hear you? You will normally know where you will deliver this little speech. Would it be in a classroom? Did I use the correct register? Was I formal enough? Um, did I look at my, did I poise my stance? Was it poised? Was it relaxed? Did I remember not to do all those ugly, nervous, sticky things that I sometimes do, like crossing my legs and flipping my fringe? Did I pause effectively? Really? There you must be very strict on yourself. Did I pause? Um, did I have audience rapport? Did I actually get across to my audience? Did they enjoy my speech? Did I have them in the palm of my hand? And did I make eye contact? So ask yourself these questions. And if you will say no to some of these, even when you practice, you can practice and you can say to yourself, well, I'm now looking at this person in the first row, and then I'm looking at a person in the middle, then I'm looking, So practice that. If you didn't do that, then next time, remember to do that. And then on the day, of course, when you have to do this unprepared speech, and you've now prepared and you've made sure that you're not going to make these ugly mistakes, now it's there and you have received the topic, or you have the topic that you're going to speak on. Firstly, and very quickly, decide how you will interpret the topic. Let's say it is a proverb. Let's say it says, the pen is mightier than the sword. How are you going to interpret that topic? What are you going to say about it? Exactly. Can you see that there's a host of things that you can talk about here? So what exactly, and how am I going to have a 3-part content here in terms of my interpretation? Think of a title. If the 3-part structure of your speech will entail a certain aspect of writing, then you can perhaps have an original title as well. You can put in the title. But don't worry too much about that. Even if you don't have a title, it doesn't matter. Right, but as I said, you want to, but you have little time. Brainstorm very quickly the ideas and get your point 1, 2, and 3 very quickly so that you can flesh it out. So you decide on the 3 different points. You write the 3 ideas down on 3 different cards, because those will be your 1, your 2, your 3rd point. You see, first, second, 3rd point. And number them so that you don't get confused later on. So first, with your little intro and the topic, and number, that's cue card 1. Cue card 2, the next aspect. Cue card 3, the next aspect, and the conclusion. And of course, your little connecting words or phrases. So don't forget to number, otherwise you might fiddle with cue cards here. Make sure that you back up the points with evidence. It can be from your own life, it can be from information that you've read recently. You draw from your own experience. I've seen the most wonderful unprepared speeches where people, just describe what their cats do, and how she described it and how it was part of this whole speech. You draw from what you know, what you experience, from your soccer matches, from whatever it is that you know a lot about, your ballet. So look at the information that you already know, bring it in and bring it back to the actual point that you are making in that specific cue card and what that's all about. Don't forget about the catchy introduction, because in the same way as your prepared speech must have a catchy introduction to get the rapport with the audience, very important. Strong introduction, a catchy introduction, strong concluding statement. And jot those strong, perhaps or just parts of that strong intro and ending down so that you know where you're going. Please do not try and write out the entire speech and memorize the content and think, I'm going to first say that. And this is exactly the next sentence. And don't try and memorize anything. You don't have time anyway. So just jot down the essentials, the 3 stages, and a word or two, just to remind you of how you're going to elaborate each point. It's just little pointers. And you use about, as I said, 1 minute for each point. Make sure that they flow nicely from point to point using your connectives, like however, to make things worse, or but actually, etc. All those connectives you can use. And then during speaking, make use of all the skills that you've learned from the prepared speeches lessons to assist you, as well as the guidelines given to you in the lessons on prepared speeches to present properly. In other words, all the presentation skills and the planning and structuring skills, it must be applied here. An unprepared speech is less formal. It's not quite as formal as the prepared or the formal speech. And make sure that your contact with your audience is very good and that you are even more relaxed when standing in front of your audience. And really speak, converse with the audience. Look at the audience. Okay, relax. Smile if it's obviously appropriate. If you're going to talk about murder or something and it's a very serious thing, you're not going to stand there smiling and saying, ha ha ha, now we're talking. Make sure that you do the correct thing in order to make the rapport with the audience. And let your gestures, make sure that your gestures and your facial expressions show how you feel. Show your feelings. Stop. Pause, look at the audience, show your feelings, and then also, as I said once before, with a formal speech, please do not thank the audience. It's just such an anticlimax. Don't do that. Don't need to thank them. And then voila, what have you got? You've got your unprepared speech, and all you need to do now is to enjoy the speech. Be relaxed and remember everything about speech making. And I'm sure you will do very well.